Greetings, I am Wanda Gwynn Zimmerman and I am your instructor for this section of 102. Now you will notice that I put Gwynn in quotation marks because it was not the name I was given at birth. No one consulted me if I wanted to be called Wanda. So when I got into my 40s, I chose Gwendolyn as my name. I've never had it legally changed, but maybe someday I will. You will see Wanda written all over the place though. So if you call me Wanda, that's fine. If you call me Gwen, that's fine. And if you have a problem calling your instructor by his or her first name, then Ms. Zimmerman it is. Now, I have covered my background in the written part of my introduction on the homepage. So I'm not going to go in that again, except to say that I have been involved in schools for a very long time, not only as a student, but as an instructor on several levels. I do what I do because I like doing it, and I like it even more being online because I like the flexibility. However, online classes can be extremely difficult for students and for instructors. I won't say that it is difficult for me because I've been doing it for so long. I've been all online for about going on 5 years now. But if you are a first-time student or first-time online student, there are some ins and outs of which you should be very aware. One is that you need a huge amount of discipline, and you need to be willing to ask questions when you don't understand something. And going back to the discipline, if you get behind, it can be very, very difficult to get caught up. And if you don't spend enough time each week in the online classroom, then it is easy to get behind. Added to that, this is a summer class, and that means it is 8 weeks long. And in English 102, you write 4 papers. That means you have a paper due every single week. Now, excuse me, every 2 weeks. Hey, I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. Every 2 weeks, you're going to have a paper due. Now, the last paper is actually a PowerPoint, and I choose to assign a PowerPoint for various reasons. The biggest reason is because it gives students an understanding of how other types of writing differ from the academic writing that we're going to be doing in the first 3 papers. And it gives a bit of variety, and in your careers, you might well be using PowerPoints to give lectures or information. So it's a good practice. Now, having said that, the first paper for this class is I'm assigning the topic. But for the second and third papers, you need to, or you will get to, some of you won't like that, you will get to choose your topics. Choose a topic that you like because you will be working on it for both of those papers. The first paper will be a shortened version, and then for the third paper, you will expand, revise, and add to that paper. And I do this for a couple of reasons, not readings. One is because writing is rewriting, and you will learn more from rewriting and expanding than you will writing a new paper. The second is because in this course, there's not really time for rough drafts. And so your first paper is, in essence, a rough draft of the third paper. Now, this will be, I'll talk about this more in the coming modules and the explanations for that, but keep that in mind as you are thinking about topics. Now, what else? This is the first time I've taught 102 in a summer class for several years. I teach 102 just about every term, but I've been teaching mainly mythology courses in the summer or Intro to Lit. So I'm doing major revisions in this course. The first module is ready to go, but the other 3 modules, each module is centered around producing the paper. The other 3 modules are still in flux and still are waiting for overhauls and revisions. There were only 2 weeks between semesters, and so that wasn't a lot of time to get everything ready for the beginning of the course, but they will be in place, and I will especially try to get the assignments updated so you have an idea. Some of them already are, so you have an idea of the workload for this class. I do suggest that when a module opens, one of the first things you do is look at the assignment for the paper or the PowerPoint. Because if you wait to review it until it's a few days before the paper is due, you're going to be in big trouble. You will need to be doing research, finding sources, etc., and etc. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else at this point that I need to add, and I can't really think of anything. But again, I want to reiterate, being in an online class takes a huge amount of discipline. It takes a huge amount of discipline for the instructor as well. You need to keep up on assignments. You need to read the material and the lessons, because it really, really bothers me when someone says, I don't understand the directions, and they never ask me about it, or they never looked at the lesson. So read the lessons. If you have questions, ask me. Stay on top of things. Visit the classroom several times a week. And I think that is about all for right now. I do use other videos in the course, and some of them are old, and you're going to go, wow, she sure looked young then. Yeah, well, I was younger then. So I'm going to stop there. Let's get going, and I'll see you in class.